Hello, hello. I hope this finds you well. I am back in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I've not shown the back of this for a while, the the ISBN number. All right, so last time we did all the little water puddles. Something I forgot to mention in that too. There is no landscape line across here, so I treated these like water puddles, not like clouds. Okay, just saying. All right, let's work on this guy. So I was thinking of a golden yellow beak, and then I thought, well, but her dress is yellow. So which bird do I want to do with the golden yellow? And then I thought, well, when I use the golden yellow, I'm also going to do purple for the body. And then on the other one, I am going to do like a turquoise for the body. So then I had to think which one's going to look best. So as we've done before, I am going to take my green blue, and I'm going to do it right here beside, because that's the option for one of the bodies. And then the other one is going to be a purple. I'm not sure, it's probably going to be a darker purple that shows up. So let's just go with this plum. So that I'm doing this. What I want to see then is which one shows up better or looks better next to that. Do I go that way or do I go this way? And I'm thinking the purple. Therefore, my yellows and purples will get used for this one, and my orange and teals for this one. So I am going to bounce over and do this one first, because I've got to get some tape and tape that back down. It keeps popping up and I know it will bug me, and I don't have tape laying right here. So those to the side, move this over. And also, see how that purple is next to that brown? See how that tealy blue is next to it? That's going to look better. So that's just another little tip, and we did that a little while back. It just lets you look to see what's going to look best. So blow this guy up. Hang on to my tablet, make sure that's still in. I'm going to go down just a little, because if I move, I don't want to be off screen. Okay, so we are back with the Crayola pencils. Roll my chair up here, and I have orange, and then I have red orange. Okay, then the other colors are turquoise and green blue. So let's start with the beak, because these to me are all like pretend and playful characters. I mean, it is Alice's Wonderland, right? And the thing that I have to also think about is if I did all of these in true colors for the animals that they are, for any of them that are real animals, I would end up with a bunch of brown. And I want this to be bright and cheery. You know, one day when I'm dead and gone and the kids are going through the house and they find this book and they're like, oh my gosh, what was Mom thinking? Let me at least put a smile on their face, you know? Anyway, I actually did find a book that my mom had colored in when we were going through her place after she passed. So It happens. Hers was not an adult one. It was a kid one. And I seem to remember it not making the cut. Yeah, and oh no, it was not a collector. It wasn't in the condition to be a collectible. If it had been, I would have held on to it, but it was not. She had like kind of half colored at some of it, and it just was not in good condition. It had not been taken care of, so we'll just leave it at that. But anyway, there. So I've gone over with my orange. Now I'm going to come in with my red orange. Now, closer to the body, closer to the sunlight. So closer to the body. Getting on those edges, you know, that will also make it look more rounded. We've talked about that many, many times. And then I am going to get right here. So remember, in this book, we also have areas that are already shaded by the artist, and that is hopefully giving us a little bit of a clue as to where the artist had intended for the shadows to be, or the darker areas. So now see, this is not connected right here, but if you look here, it swirls in and then it's connected. So I'm going to have to decide what to do. So I know this red goes around there. Excuse me, this red-orange goes around there. And then I think what I'm going to do, because I've not really cleaned up my work desk in a while, is this still it? Yep. Dark brown was still laying over there. So I'm going to grab this dark brown and I'm going to come in here and get this. And blend it in to the prior color. Okay? So we just added that color to the mix, but that's okay. Come over here and get this. Now, I'm seeing also here that my red-orange is not quite as deep a color as I would like it to be for a long part of this edge. See, even when I really color on that. Now that did help deepen some of that. But I would still like it a little bit darker in a couple of places. Now see, I did that to give that ripple that's in there. Same thing here. There's a ripple in there. And by doing that darker, it sets that back down in there and makes that ripple. But let me go back and finish this and then show you what I was talking about. And take your time with things. We're not on a time frame here. This is YouTube. It's not a contest for who finishes first. None of those things matter, so take your time. Now, what I want to look at is up here. But before I do that, I'm going to come in and get that orange in there again. I had lost part of that. Or maybe hadn't done it well enough the first time through. All right, all blended. Okay, now back to that brown, dark brown. I'm going to use it right up in here because I want this area pushed back up under. So I'm really going to color that. And then I'll start blending it out. Just blend it out. There we go. Now see how that looks like it's coming up under? Now, because I also want this to look like it's underneath these front feathers, I am also going to come up here just a bit and do a little bit. Now, I don't want to go too dark right here because I don't want this to blend in with this. Okay? Then I'm going to score this line here. And I'm going to score part of this line here. It just accentuates where that beak closes. And then a little bit of dark there. See, it just made that more rounded out and tucked these areas up underneath. Okay, so beak is done. Now I'm going to be using the turquoise and the green blue. Okay, so we're going to start with the turquoise, and I'm just going to come in here and lay this color in. And let's see those wings. I think I am going to go ahead and color those a turquoise also, but probably come in with a much darker shade. In fact, for now, I may even leave them black. Or I may go over it with this color. I don't know. We're going to have to see. Now, I'm not doing overly heavy here because I do want to leave this sky just a little lighter than if I went solid, it would be more like this. And I'm not sure that I want him that color all over. And if I don't finish this in one setting, you know, watch for a part 2. I at first thought that that would not be a problem, but now as I'm getting into it, I'm thinking that could be a problem. Getting it done at one time, I mean. All right, so back up here. So I'm going to skip doing this because you know how to just color something like this. Okay? I don't want to get into a time crunch in a little bit. Essentially, what I'm going to do is this color all over and then come back with my second color and do everything that's been put in by the artist in gray. I'm going to go over it with the second color. Now this is not part of him. Okay? This is part of our squirrel. So kind of stay out of that area. I know it's not always clear at first glance what an artist is doing. Most of the time, yes, but not always. Now, I'm really excited to get into Jane's new book that I did the review on the other day. Really excited to be doing some of those pages. She just does such beautiful artwork. And she doodles like all the time. She's in a group on Facebook that I'm on about journaling. which I kind of lurk because I don't really doodle and journal. But she just puts out some fabulous, fabulous pages and artwork. And now that I'm looking at it, you know, I did this. I'm thinking that was part of the squirrel too. I thought maybe that was feathers hanging down, but I think this is the squirrel's body, and that's part of his arm. So while I'm thinking about it, and I'm not overly worried that I already put that blue in there, because he's going to be brown, and brown will overtake that. Okay, so I'm not even gonna fret about that. All right, so there's all that top area. And then same thing down here. I did do a little darker down in here because it's the underbelly. So it would be in more shadow than this up in here. So that's why I didn't worry too much about showing you the color difference. It just depends on how hard you push on your pencils, how many layers of pencil you put in. There's just so many factors that go into how your pencils perform for you versus how they perform for me. Plus, you may not be doing the same colors. You may not be doing the same pencils. You may not even be doing the same book. So always remember that whatever you're coloring, there are lots of factors that go into every page that a lot of times we don't even think about. We just take off coloring. And now that I'm looking at this, I'm thinking I may go ahead and go a little darker on it. Okay, so I keep doing all that. Let me stand up and look. We're at 17 minutes, so, you know, I need to learn to set a stopwatch. I've got one on my phone. All right, let's stop that for now. One thing I do want to go back and finish is these feet. I don't want to forget these. So I've got that orange that we started with. And I am going to go ahead and do talons and all. Yeah, normally I would probably do those in a gray color, but I'm thinking, I'd do them orange, why not? Both feet will be done the same. I just wanted to be sure and get one done for you. Hope everybody is doing well. Staying safe, staying healthy. Okay, now I'm going to come up in these areas with my second color. So whatever colors you're using. And see, by going with the darker color along these lines, it makes this area look like it's lifted up. And that's the look we're after. So don't be afraid to make your darks just a little bit darker, and then it will make your lights appear to be a little bit lighter. Then I'm going to come in with this dark brown, and I'm going to do these V areas. Watch how much just this little bit is going to really, really lift these lighter lines. Make them look so much more raised. Give us that dimension that we're after. Or at least that's what I'm after. Some depth. Okay? So now this foot versus just the regular foot. You can already tell where that's going. Now, back up to this. I'm going to grab my green blue, and I am going to do this in green blue. Yeah, normally it would be black, but nah, I want it in color. Same thing on this side. Then what we're going to do, down in there gets colored, because that leg is pushed back up underneath his stomach that's coming down there. Okay. Same thing would happen over here. Stomach's hanging down just a bit. And then what I'm going to do is everywhere where it's gray. So you've got to kind of look and see. There's little lines through here. Now, the line is not just a cup like that. If you want to do it the way the artist did, you've got to put little jagged lines in there. Okay? And that gives you the illusion of all these feathers. Of it not just being like smiley faces done on there. Okay, so you're going to do that all down through there. And you just look at what was colored before, or what was underneath, what was drawn. And then I will still come back and blend at the end up here. Now this is mainly lines. Okay. That I'm just going to go ahead and get in there and then pull it out. Okay, just pull those lines. Okay, and that's really all there is to it. The part down here is what's going to take a while. Okay, we're at 24, so let me just stay standing up. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to come over here and get some of this in for that V, but then I'm going to get lighter as I come out, because I want this area back here to be darker. And I can still do this a little bit just to emphasize that area so it doesn't get totally lost. And then I'll blend that later. Get all these lines in. The eye, whatever color you would like. Oh no, make you think and do it yourself. I'm probably going to end up with like a green of some sort. I don't know. Not even thinking that right now. Just thinking all this, all these lines. And you can see I'm not going over each one perfectly. That's part of the joy about something like this, is if you do or don't hit every line, it's not necessarily going to matter. See, now I could have gone over each line like this. But it's not that much different than what I did. Okay. A little darker there, lighter as I come up. There's some shading here. A little bit of shading here before it goes to that white stomach. Just back and forth little lines. If you get tired of doing the lines, move on to something else. Yeah, I find it's better if I'm getting tired, don't rush on through, because that's when I make my mistakes. And you'll find a system that works for you when you're doing coloring. Like for me, personally, coming sideways and just coming down in little ruffled areas is going to be easier for me than doing smileys or umbrellas or whatever. But you can see how that's going to get worked out just fine. Add some more of this dark down here. Remember, we're going to come back. Always come back at the end with that lightest color and do some blending. If you've got a spot that really needs to go super dark, get your brown out. See, I can bring that same brown that we've been using right here. Why not? Just deep into that and pushed it back up underneath. All right. So now it's just going to be a matter of getting all this done. All my lightest shade. Ooh, look at that. Easy, easy. Yeah, I'm only doing it like this because I know I'm going to do this 3 or 4 times. It's going to end up being quite a bit darker, probably, than what I had first envisioned. The more I put on, the more I just like it better. And then I can go in with my circles. And with circles or ovals, and get rid of those lines. And I'll do that until I get all this smoothed out how I want it. And then I can still come back with that second color and add any more of these other lines in that I want. Okay? So again, it's not over till you're done. Just keep working on it. But for now, that's it for this video. See you in a few days. Bye.